I might have broken the game. This 6'8" demigod build is unreal. It quite literally does everything. It can shoot from Mars. It can make wild contested shots. It plays elite defense, making it one of the best two-way builds on the entire game. It unlocks the best dribble moves, allowing me to cook any defender. But the most special part about this build is its ability to posterize anybody. I mean, seriously, this build gets some of the most insane putbacks I've ever seen. I would have usually wrapped up this intro by now, but I got way too many clips, so these dunks are actually crazy. If you guys want VC, make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss out on the giveaways I've been doing. Since we're almost at 900k subscribers, we got to play this sub game to get closer. You must subscribe if you have a pet cat. You must subscribe if you have brown eyes. You must subscribe if your name is Jacob, Aiden, or Jackson. And you must subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If you think you missed out on Underdog's holiday promos, good news, you haven't. Underdog Unwrapped is still going, and there are more promos dropping now through December 31st. When you sign up with code SOLO and play your first $5, you'll unlock $75 in bonus entries plus an exclusive gimme pick you could play right away. On Underdog, just pick higher or lower on player stats for a chance to win up to 5,000x your money. They have basically every sport in here. You guys can see I locked in my picks for this week for the NFL games. Underdog is available in most states, including Florida, California, and Texas. And again, don't miss out. Take advantage of this. Sign up with code SOLO, play your first $5, and you'll unlock $75 in bonus entries and a gimme pick. What's up, guys? It's Solo back with our video. Before I show you guys how to create the best 6'8" demigod ISO build, I gotta show you how crazy this build goes in the park, because I've been taking over this game with this build. Look at me, back fading from 30+ feet out. I'm dancing, ankle breaker. Oh my God, he's jumping. It doesn't matter. I've been going so crazy on this build. If you've been in the streams, I'm sure you've seen it right here. Josh with a miss. He's gonna get his board, shoot the fadeaway, and oh my God. That's one of the craziest putback dunks I've ever seen. I put it back on both of them, got the contact dunk animation, and I'd like to say that that's rare, but if you see me play on this build, I've had this build for a few weeks now. Look at me just playing defense like he thought that shit was free. I sent his shit right here. I'm gonna hit Josh. I'm gonna end up scoring in the left corner, but those putback dunks are regular on this build. Pretty much anytime my teammate misses, I'm flying in, and if they don't box me out, if they don't touch me, I'm getting right by him and I'm putting it right back. 45% in his face. Like, I'm truly unguardable because the shooting's so crazy on this build. The dribbling's crazy. The dunking is insane. Look at me. Just, I put back everything. And it's not just no regular one hand put back. Like, I'm going between the legs. Look at me hopping back. This build can ISO. It can take screens. I have really high pass accuracy as well in this build, as you guys will see. So I could play fives. I could run the one. It's so versatile. I'm just putting people on the ground. Look at the defense. We have an 85 steal. A lot of people go low steal on these type of builds. I'm not doing that. You guys, if you know me, you know that I like to play defense on this game. That's one of my best attributes right there. A contact lob. Again, another steal. I'm playing the lanes. This build does it all. Dunking, finishing, shooting, and Josh just throwing the lob right there. We had a miscommunication. But yeah, dunking, shooting, dribbling, defense, rebounding as well. If you wanted to play big for whatever reason on this build, you could do it, because I have basically, I think, maxed out rebounding, really high physicals, including vertical, of course, speed and agility. This build, I really think I broke the game. Look at me, I'm just showing off. I'm just going crazy, cooking my defender and then self-lobbing it right over the other guy. Quick stop for three, take three. Josh with another miss. You already know, like, you gotta box me out. You gotta find me. You gotta find me. Right here, Josh gonna get a good contest. He gets by me for the board, but I pin his shit. Look at this. Like, bro, you really don't see a lot of chase downs in this game, but on this build, I get chase downs. Something crazy you guys will see. Oh my God, bro. I'm just dunking on everybody. I really am. It's crazy. And I have way more clips too that I'm not even gonna put in this video. But look at this. Oh, small meter, it doesn't matter. But something about this build that I think I really kind of broke the builder on is the cap breaker screen. If you guys know anything about builds, bro, I mean, I'm going crazy, but if you know anything about builds, you know the cap breakers are probably the most important part. Finding out how to get the most out of your build, and you know, especially if you can find a way to get your cap breakers to say +10, +9, +8 for one cap breaker instead of just getting +1s. That's how you really break the builder. And I found a way to do that all over the build. For my dunk, I don't want to spoil it, you guys will see, but you guys got to make this build. And obviously I have a lot of cap breakers. I have 19 cap breakers. I'm about to be veteran 3. I hit level 40 a bunch of seasons. I have basically all the cap breakers I can have right now. Some of you guys might be beginners. You might have just got the game for Christmas. You know, You got it for your birthday. Maybe you only got a few cap breakers, 7 cap breakers, 10 cap breakers even. I made a bunch of different versions of this build for you guys in this video. So if you want a version of this build, but you don't have as many cap breakers of me, I got you. Don't worry. Look at me. Back to the bag session. Back to the cook session. Hold up. Step back. I got deep bomber hitting Josh. John Cena in the paint. Hands up. Hands up. He's falling back and damn. Right here on the green of 3. I got heat check. That's never a good sign for my opponent. 19-0. What am I about to do? I'm just gonna run back and pull it from the season 3 logo. 34 feet out. It doesn't matter. I'm putting it back. Bro, the rebounding plus the vertical plus the driving dunk, I'm unstoppable. On the boards, on the putbacks right here, I do get ripped, but it's okay because I'm gonna get it back. I blitz him right back, hit him with a D-book. Hold up, snatch back, D-book again into the self lob. If you guys watched my dribble tutorial, I just dropped all my sigs in my last video. If you haven't seen that, make sure to check it out. But I showed y'all, how to, the D-book self lob is crazy. It's broken, bro. It's a free bucket. It's a free, that honestly should not be as free as it is, but it's an easy bucket. Right here, I'm letting him catch his breath a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Gotta let the Grinch catch his breath before I fry his shit. D-book into the self lob. You cannot guard me. I'm hitting him with the windmill. Josh with the board out to me. 4-3. You already know what color that is on this build. I think I'm shooting about 80% from 3, which is pretty good for a 6'8" build. I don't have a 99 3-pointer or anything like that. I do shoot very good on this build, but I would say the main thing is the mid-range. That's my go-to. If you ever watch me play, I'm kind of dancing around in the mid-range trying to find that. Oh my God, Josh missed. You already know. Hand behind the head, putting it back. Now we're switching courts. Now we got the lazy river in the background. Okay. Subscribe right now if you guys want to be in that lazy river right now. Be honest. Because for me right now, it's 25 degrees. It's 25 degrees. I would like to be at Sunset Beach right now, but unfortunately, I'm in the ice cold 25-degree weather. Look at me going between the legs, snatch back on the Grinch. He cannot guard me, but there's more to this clip. It's not over. We're still going. I'm gonna get the ball, snatch back, break his ankles, dancing, self lob. The teammate tries to help, it doesn't matter. I'm just going crazy, snatch back into the Paul George. I'm dancing, going into the midi, psych, crossover into the paint for the dunk. There's more to this clip though. Like, this is just a cook session. Every single play in this build. It's very rare that somebody pulls up and is able to hold me. And what I like to run a lot of the time, look at, oh my God, putting him into the contact dunk animation, throwing him on the floor. Easy putback right there to end the game. What I like doing on this build is I run a lot of double ISO because it's just fun. Like if you take screens, that works probably even better with this build, but it's just fun to run double ISO. And so then it's not just me that's unguardable, but a lot of the time my teammate is as well. So right here I'm blitzing, and then also with the double ISO, especially if you got 2 6'8", maybe you got a 6'11", you can switch everything. Look at me just sending that shit though. I'm sending that shit and I'm putting him into a contact dunk animation right here. I'm dropping back. That's not even my man. That's not even my assignment, but I'm dropping back, getting the lane steal, ripping it off this gingerbread man, snatch back, take 3, buddy. This video could be an hour long. It could be 2 hours long if I wanted to put all my clips, but I've been on this build for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and you could see just how crazy it's going. It does it all. And I've been waiting to drop this video. I can't lie. I've been waiting to drop this video, been waiting to, figure out the build completely. And also, I'm dropping this for the, hold up, let me send that shit real quick. I'm dropping this for the Christmas noobs. A lot of new players about to be getting the game. We got a few more clips here, but we're about to get into the creation of this build. Snatch back 32% in your face. Hold up. Let me smack another contested. To get out of here. 39. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to finally review the build because it is genuinely insane. So of course we're going to want to create our own. You could use one of these template builds, but I don't know why you'd want to do that, because if you want to get the most out of the builder, you're going to want to just start from scratch and cook for yourself. I would say the consensus best height on this game is going to be 6'8", just because of how versatile these builds are. They can basically be a guard and a big man at the same time, and the amount of things you could do with the cap breakers, allowing you to get crazy attributes on these builds, is definitely the best height. So we're gonna go shooting guard, 6'8", and then for the weight, I go 192. A lot of people go 185. I don't think it really matters. And then for the wingspan, there's pretty much 2 options for the 6'8" builds. You guys can see the potential stats on the right. Look at the steal. If you go 6'9", you can get the 85 steal. If you go minimum 6'8", you cannot get the 85 steal, which is for interceptor. Some people opt to go with a low steal. They go 73 with the minimum wingspan and they go high shooting. I, however, like to play defense. I'm gonna get the steal. I feel like the 95 mid-range, 93 point is still enough. Okay, so let's get into it. This is gonna be my version, the 19 cap breaker version of this build. But if you have less cap breakers, I will show you what you guys can do to tweak the build and make it with less cap breakers. Obviously, it's not gonna be as good, but it's still a very good build. So let's start off with the obvious stuff. We got the shooting. Now, on this build, I'm gonna have all legend shooting badges, except for limitless range, which you can have on Hall of Fame if you want. We're gonna start off putting our mid-range up to a 90. If you remember from the potential screen, you guys can see we can go to a 95. So 5 cap breakers gets us to that 95, which gives us a bunch of gold and Hall of Fame shooting badges, which we will easily be using our badge perks to get those all on legend. And I will be going shooting specialization. Now for our 3-point, we're gonna be putting this up to an 87, but we will be going 90. So we're gonna put +3 cap breakers. So we got 5 to midi, 3 to 3-pointer. You want to go 90 3-pointers, you get the deep bomber takeover ability. If you're looking at the badges, you really only need to go 89 for silver limitless, but at 90 you get deep bomber. On a lot of these 6'8" builds, you go one or the other, high mid-range or high 3-point, and the other one's usually around 80 83. But because I have so many cap breakers, I can get 95 and 90. Now let's stay on the topic of the cap breakers. Where are they going to go? So we've already used 8 of our 19. Next up, I found a way to get a crazy high driving dunk. And no, I'm not doing that in the builder, because this is how you get the crazy builds, when you have low stats in the builder and then you can cap break it way up there, you know, very high. So if I go 79 driving dunk, and again, you guys need to know this, it's very important. You have to copy everything that I put on this build, or else the cap breakers will not work. This builder's like rocket science. It took me hours to not only create this build, but the versions of the build with less cap breakers that I'm about to show you. When you go 79 driving dunk on this version of the build, 4 cap breakers, only 4, not even 5, 4 cap breakers gets me to a 93 driving dunk, which will give me 2-foot and 1-foot contact dunks, and it'll also give me gold posterizer. You can +1 it to Hall of Fame, or you can +2 it to legend. Now we also need the vertical, because if you want posterizer, you need an 80 vertical, and if you want the contact dunks, you need at least a 78. So we're gonna go 80. We're not gonna stop there. We're gonna get an 83 for Hall of Fame pogo stick, and this vertical helps us out with rebounds and put back dunks as well. Okay, so that's 12 of our 19 cap breakers. Where are the rest of them gonna go? Now, something I noticed is that block is very, very expensive on these taller builds. I think it's because the build is 6'8", which is kind of like a big man. They kind of weighed block heavy in the builder. So if you want a high block, like normally people go 74 or 78, it's gonna cost you a lot. It's gonna be very expensive. So what I'm doing, and I found that you gotta mess with it. You know, I was going 50 block. Actually, I don't want to mess up the build, so let me keep it there. But I was tweaking it. I was going 40. I was seeing, you know, how many cap breakers I would have to put for that to go up to like 78 or something crazy. And I found the perfect number for this and the driver dunk. 79 driver dunk, 45 block. With a 45 block, 5 cap breakers puts it to a 78. That's plus 33 to your block with only 5 cap breakers. Crazy. Something else that a lot of people do is they do the ball handle speed of ball cap breaker method, where you go 66 ball handle, 71 speed of ball. That has actually been found to be less effective. It's not as worth it compared to cap breaking your block and going with the 45 block and going with the cap breaker block method. All right, so that's 17 out of 19 cap breakers. We have 2 left, and these 2 are going to be going on our physicals. Speed and agility is very important. I mean, that's pretty much a no-brainer. Like, I feel like you don't even have to know 2K to know that your physicals and your speed and agility are going to matter. But on a 6'8" build, having this high speed and agility is crazy. You're going to be flying around the court like as if you're a small guard, not only on offense but on defense as well. And I'm going to put my last 2 cap breakers on speed and agility. So we're going to have an 88 speed, 88 agility. One more time, here's where all the cap breakers are going. 5 to midi, 3 to 3-pointer, 4 to driver dunk, which puts us up to a 93 driving dunk. Then we're gonna have 5 on block, which puts us to a 78 block, 1 to speed, and 1 to agility. Let's grind through the playmaking really quick, which is actually very good on this build. All you need is an 85 to unlock all the dribble moves for these tall guards. And as far as the speed of ball goes, some people stop at 75 because that's where you get silver lightning launch, which you definitely, like, it's not even a question. You're gonna wanna +2 this with your badge perks up to Hall of Fame. But I want to get a little extra speed of ball because the attribute still does matter, even though we're not going to get any badges with it. We're going to go 80 speed of ball to make us a little bit quicker. And then what I like a lot about this build is the pass accuracy. A lot of builds in the past, I went lower pass accuracy. You know, you see a lot of people go to 71 for that silver dimer, but they dropped the patch like 2 months ago, which basically made it where passes were slower. It was more noticeable. So you definitely want pass accuracy. And also, if you want to play 5v5 on this build, rec, pro-am, whatever it is, you want to run threes, like I'm mainly a twos player, but this allows me to play all of those modes. 85 pass accuracy, that's where you get bailout as well, which is a very good badge. We have gold dimer, you could +2 that up to legend if you want to get crazy. Gold versatile visionary, and silver break starter. The physicals, or not the physical, the playmaking is looking crazy. 85, 85, and 80. Next up, let's upgrade the defense. Again, I went with the 6'9" wingspan so that we can get the steal. A lot of people, what they do is they go 6'8", they go, I believe it's 97 midi and then 92 3-pointer. They want a little more shooting, which I understand, but I like interceptor. I like steal. A lot of people go 73 for silver interceptor, bronze glove. I'm going 85. You know, it's debatable. If you want to do that, you could do that. This is just how I made my build. I want a little bit more defense. I feel like I'm fine with a 95 midi and a 93 pointer. So we're gonna go 85 for that gold interceptor, silver glove. You could use your badge perks on them, but I don't believe that I do that. I'll show you the badge perks in a second. Next up, we have our perimeter, which we are also going to be going 85, just like the steel, to get a bunch of silver defensive badges like challenger, on-ball menace, and pick dodger. We're not going to touch our block because once again, we're cap breaking that. 5 cap breakers gets us to a 78. So the defense is crazy on this build. 60 interior, 85, 85 for our perimeter and steel, and then a 78 block. And this is something else that I like about the build a lot, is the rebounding. I realized early on in this game that I want to be versatile. I want to be able to switch on defense, whether I'm playing with a center or another 6'8". I want to be able to, you know, switch and just have that versatility on defense, have that ability to get boards, because when I made my first 6'6", yes, it was dominant offensively. I went crazy with that build. I had like a 95 win percentage with it in season 1. But one thing that it kind of lacked was the rebounding. So on this build, we're going to go 71 offensive rebound, and then we're going to go 78. That's crazy. For like a guard type build, 78 defensive rebound. This is basically not even a guard now. I mean, it's probably more of like a forward, like a LeBron type build, you know what I'm saying? But damn, this build is crazy. And then with these last few attributes, I'm gonna go with a 71 free throw to finish out the build. This build is unreal. This is the 19 cap breaker version of this build. I'll show you the build with the cap breakers because it looks way better with the cap breakers than it does right now. Taking a look at the shades, we got Dan Marley, Mikal Bridges, and Kobe Bryant. It says that I have built an ISO sniper, but what's crazy about this build, I have not made a build like this all year, is the bottom right hand corner weaknesses. No big weaknesses to report. You know how hard it is to make a build where 2K cannot say, you know, you're ass at something? Like, they always have something to say. They're always like, this build struggles at the rim, or this build lacks, you know, perimeter defense, or this build can't jump high, or something, it can't shoot threes. Like, no big weaknesses to report. You know the build is good when 2K is glazing it like that. Here is the best build in the game. 19 cap breakers, 6'8", shot erasing 3-level score. Now I do unlock a bunch of different build names. I'll show you them in a second. Look at this thing. 93 driver dunk, unreal. We get gold posterizer, which I boost to Hall of Fame. You could boost it to legend if you want. We get a ton of contact dunks, a 95 midi, 93-point shot with all legend shooting badges except limitless range. The playmaking is looking crazy. We got pass accuracy, ball handle, speed of ball. The defense is crazy. The block got cap broke plus 33. This is what the cap breaker screen looks like. This is where you really get glitchy with your builds. Look at it. +9, +8, +6, +5, and +5 to the block. And then with the driver nook as well, +4, +4, +3, +3, +14 to my driver nook with only 4 cap breakers. The rebound is looking crazy. The physicals are looking crazy. I think this is the best build in the game. If you want the animations, jump shot, dribble moves, all that, I'll show y'all in a second. We got to head back to the builder to create some versions of this build for those of you that have less cap breakers. Now I want to show you guys a version of this build that is built for 12+ cap breakers. You know, maybe you're like a starter 5 rep or somewhere around there. So defensive rebound actually costs a lot. So once you take this down, you're going to free up a lot on your build. We have less cap breakers to work with, so it's going to be harder to, you know, get the most out of the build, but 12 is still a lot. So I'm going to go 93 pointer. That's crazy. Just dropping your D-board. D-board costs a lot in the builder, but just dropping your D-board allows you to get that 93 pointer. Then we're going to go 91 on the mid-range. I'll tell you where the cap breakers are going in a second. This is something else that I tested. I was sitting there for hours. I was honestly stressing, even though it's not a build that I'm gonna make, but it's for you guys. Drop the driver dunk to 77. I'll explain that in a second. The cap breaker method goes crazy right there with a 77. And then we're gonna be going down 1 on the free throw, which allows us to upgrade our agility. And this is the build for the 12 cap breaker version. I'll show you the cap breaker screen in a second, but +3 caps to your driver dunk puts it to an 89. So you're gonna get contact dunks. You're gonna go +4 to your mid-range to get a 95 mid-range, which gives you a bunch of Hall of Fame shooting badges. You could +1 them up to legend, going shooting specialization. And we're still gonna be using that block cap breaker method on this version of the build. +5 cap breakers gets it to a 78. Taking a look at the shades, we get Dan Marley, Mikal Bridges, Kobe Bryant, same thing as my build, and it says that we've built an off-screen shooter, still with no big weaknesses to report. Here's the build right here. I want to show you guys the cap breaker screen because this is very important. Again, it's like rocket science. So if you drop something on this build, like maybe you wanted, you know, a little more interior defense, so you drop your 3-pointer, that might mess up the cap breaker. So you got to be very careful. You got to make sure you check this screen before you upgrade and spend VC on your build. We're going to be going with +3 to driving dunk, +5, +4, +3 right here. That's a lot. That's going to give us +12. If you're good at math, you could have probably figured that out. 89 driving dunk right there. We already have the high vertical, so we're gonna get contact dunks. +4 to the midi, which is gonna give us a 95 midi. And then we have +5 to the block. You can do the math. It puts it up to a 78. High flying denier, paint patroller, all that. Subscribe right now, of course, because I'm doing the work in the builder so that you guys don't have to. Now I want to show you guys a version of the best build in the game, but this one's gonna be for 7 cap breakers. So maybe you're more like a starter 3 rep or a rep down there, a little bit lower. Maybe you haven't played too much this year. So once again, we're going to take off from our defensive rebound that costs a lot, and we're going to take off from our vertical. We're not going to be rebounding as much in this build, and we're also not going to be dunking as much in this build. We are going to be getting a 70 though for silver vertical, and I still think vertical matters for rebounding. 70, it's still decent, right? Now, we're not going to be capping our driver dunk. I still want solid driver dunk at an 80. You get quick drops, you get a bunch of solid dunk packages, nothing crazy, but you can still dunk meter with an 80. It's still is a decent green window. And then again, because we have less cap breakers to work with, I still want to do the block method for the cap breaker. So we're going to put 5 there. This is built for 7. So we're going to go 5 to block, and we're going to go 2 to midi. So we still get the 95 midi with the 93 pointer. Now, because our driver dunk is also lower, you could take the standing dunk down as well. So we're going to be going 88 speed. So this one's physicals are looking crazy, but this is the same physicals that I have as far as speed and agility go, just without the cap breakers. Then you're going to put your free throw up to a 76, and this is the 7+ cap breaker version. Still very good. I would say still very good, because you get the elite shooting, elite playmaking, same defense that I have, a little bit worse rebounding. You don't have the vertical, same physicals though. You're just kind of missing out on the contact dunks. But hey, I have 19 cap breakers. If you only have 7, this is still a very good option. Shades, Dan Marley, Kobe Bryant, and Mikal Bridges, and it's another off-screen shooter with no big weaknesses to report. Here is the build, and this is the cap breaker screen for the 7 cap breaker version, just so you guys can see it. Again, +2 to mid-range for a 95 mid-range, and then 5 onto block, which will get you a 78 block. Okay, so now I want to show you guys the default version of this build. It's built for no cap breaker. So if you're a beginner, you just got the game for Christmas, the holidays, your birthday, whatever it is, this is what I would do. And what I will say is that this is by far the worst version of the build, because when you have no cap breakers to work with, it's extremely hard to make a overpowered build. So we're going to drop the mid-range down to an 85. That's kind of like a threshold a lot of people like to hit for their mid-range. Still a very, solid mid-range. Pass accuracy is not going to be as high as all the other versions with an 85. We're going to drop this down to a 76, and then speed of ball. The badge is at 75 for silver lightning launch. 80 is kind of overkill. It's nice, but we're gonna have to take that down, especially when you're working with no cap breakers. And the reason we gotta lower a lot of these things is because you're probably gonna want block. And if we have no cap breakers to work with, we can't do the block cap breaker method. So we're gonna have to upgrade this all the way up to a 78, which, as you guys can see in the top right hand corner, look at the overall. You can see at a 45, it's a 96 out of 99, which is honestly a lot. You have a lot to work with right there. Like, let's say I wanted to do midi. Look at how high you could get it. And then you could get pass accuracy too. You could get so much, if you didn't have to do block. If you had cap breakers and you could keep your block low. I don't know why it's so expensive, but we're gonna go 78 block because I think that's pretty important. And then we're gonna go driving dunk up to an 89. I just have to lower a few more things. Our physicals got to take a hit. We're gonna go 84. You get the Caruso and Suggs motion style at 84 agility. Then we're gonna go 89, and then our vertical is gonna be 78, just so that we can get the contact dunks on this build. Drop the free throw to a 73 and drop the D board to a 56. That'll allow you to get the 78 vertical. And this is what I would recommend if I was a beginner and I had no cap breakers to work with. However, I'm saying this is what I would recommend because I think you guys would like this build a lot. What would I do? I'd probably make it a little different. You guys probably wouldn't like what I would do. I would say screw the contact dunks. I don't need them. I would go with like an 80 dunk, and then I would also drop my vertical. Something that I personally would want is the shooting badges that you get from having a very high midi. I would try to get my midi as high as I possibly can. I would honestly probably take a hit to my rebounding. I would say, you know, make it less. It's gonna be tough because it's so cheap to upgrade O board. Rather than like completely dismantling the build, what I think I would do is I would drop the wingspan to a 6'8", and then I would go 73 steal. I get the mid-range up as much as we can. Yeah, there we go. Now we can get up to a 94, and I'll try to get my rebounding back. So then we get a 70 O board. I'm gonna keep tweaking this. I'm gonna take the free throw down to a 69. And then I'm gonna put my pass accuracy up to an 82 for gold dimer. We're gonna end up putting the free throw back up to a 75. This is probably like what I would do if I was making a default no cap breaker 6'8". Now I know you're not getting the 95 or the 96 midi for Deadeye Hall of Fame or Shifty Shooter Hall of Fame, but we have badge perks for a reason. You can boost those easily. And when you do get your first few cap breakers, throw them on mid-range, get your midi up, and unlock those badges. I'd be interested to see what the shades are. Vince Carter, Ray Allen, and Mikal Bridges. Again, this default version of the build is by far the most different compared to the others. It's a two-way sniper, and we still have no big weaknesses to report. So I'm back on my version of the build with 19 cap breakers. Now, something I want to show you guys is if you go to my player and then you go to appearance, then if you go over to vitals, you can change the build name. So once you apply all the cap breakers, you're allowed to change the build name. You know, you unlock a bunch of different ones, especially if you do your specialization, the build specialization. So we have shot erasing 3-level score. That's the one I like the most because I feel like I don't really see that. You have ISO sniper, you have green light from the shooting specialization, and those are the 3. I could have sworn there was more, like off-ball screen shooter or something like that, but yeah, I like shot erasing 3-level score. Here are the badge perks that I'm currently running on my build. You guys can see we get Deadeye and Shifty with the shooting specialization, handles for days, and lightning launch with the max +2. And then with our max +1s, we have set shot on legend, dimer Hall of Fame, posterizer is going to be on Hall of Fame. You could get that on legend if you wanted to. Box out beast on gold. We got ankle assassin and high flying denier in the hot start slot. A badge elevated Deadeye, posterizer, and Shifty. And then I got y'all, you know, a lot of people don't be putting this in their build videos, but here are all of my animations. So copy these down. Watch my dribble tutorial too. I just posted a full dribble tutorial showing every move I do to score. Grab if you guys haven't too, since I'm plugging y'all with this. I got you with the jump shot in a second. Go to shot KD, dribble pull up Pro 2, and the motion style, Jalen Suggs. Make sure you put that on. We got my dunk packages for 2 foot. I don't like to really put these on. I have the contact dunks on, and then for 1 foot, I have the contact dunks, and then I only have quick drops. You don't want to put too many dunks on because when you start getting crazy, you're going to start getting blocked. I have on both of the standing dunk regular packages, and then I have Michael Jordan dunks on, and the alley-oops, I have pro, elite, and then I have the pro and elite contact. Now for the jump shot, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even want to show this because I'm dropping a new jump shot video in a few days. That'll probably be out by the time you're watching this, unless you're watching it on like the day that I posted. But we got Ray Allen, Rudy Gay, and Kyle Korver. Make sure to watch that jump shot video too for all more shooting tips and everything when I drop it. Full release speed, 50-50. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. I'm doing the work so that you guys don't have to. Figuring out the best way to make builds, all the cap breakers, all that. If you enjoyed this video, click the video pop to your screen right now.